What's happening, everybody? It's your man, Damednydc. You know what time it is. It's Monday night. Brand new episode of Two Mics Up. And look, tonight, I have an amazing guest who's coming to join me on the other mic tonight. And, we're going to talk about life, right? Empowerment, you know, your blessings and all of these great things that some of us may not really know how to get in touch with. We're struggling on really finding or connecting, to that point to where we feel good about ourselves and are able to go ahead and move forward, whether it be in our lives or our businesses. But tonight's guest, man, she's powerful. I'm excited and really honored to have her join me on the mic tonight. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and bring to the stage and bring to the mic, Dr. Joi Brown of 3E Consulting. Dr. Joi Brown, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I love the smile and the energy. And this is what makes this so much fun for me. When you have, guests that are joining you that really about that passion, right? Mm-hmm. And you exude passion in your smile. And, before we jump into everything about you and 3E Consulting, I always like to start out, about, just give us a little background. Like, who is Dr. Joi Brown? Where she's from? What was her upbringing like? Give us a little insight to who you are.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure. So I'm Dr. Joi Brown, born and raised in the DMV from Maryland.
All right.
And so, when I always say my mother named me well. And so I truly, bring joy to this world. That is my calling. And so it all started because I grew up in a family that instilled in me, I would say, the I can mantra. And I grew up believing that I could achieve anything that I set my mind to. My grandmother instilled in me that I was beautiful and bold and intelligent and strong and determined. And I would bring a joy to this world. So, as a child, that's all I knew, that I could achieve anything I set my mind to. And as I look back over my journey of life, having that I can mantra, believing in myself, coming from a family that service in the community, service in the church, it was in my DNA. And so when you think about, the calling, I know I have a calling on my life. I've been truly blessed, through coaching and mentorship and people who poured into me. And so every day I walk with a day of purpose. It's not work because it's my calling. Wow. In life. And I've been able to navigate this life, and I've been able to use the gifts that was instilled in me to help somebody else.
Ooh, look, my hairs are standing up because I mean that's so true. We really need that, and especially as a male, as a black male, and having a daughter, all those things that you talked about, instilling in my daughter, how beautiful she is, and to let her know that there's nothing in this world that she can't do, and she can accomplish anything that she puts her mind to. And I really love that. And then that leads me to something that I also read, a quote of yours, where you talk about, if I can help somebody, right, along this journey called life with a word or song, then, living will not be in vain. And that really sparked me just hearing you talk about, because that really led into that question. Like, where did that saying or that phrase come from? Was there a point or something happened along your journey to where you are that kind of spoke that to fruition?
Well, I think it's like I said, my upbringing. Like I grew up in a family that instilled in us that we had gifts and talents, and you got to tap into those gifts and talents, and they could be a blessing to others. And so we were service. Like I grew up, we were in the community. We did this, we did that. And so we was always about who? People. And so as I look back, over the journey and, my life, when they say, what was that defining moment? It was truly when I had my son. He truly changed the trajectory of my life. And if I didn't have him, I wouldn't know where I would be. But as I look back over that journey, people saw something in me. I always knew I had this gift and, what I wanted to do and stuff. I knew I had a gift through my voice, and I want to be a talk show host. And I remember when I was a little girl, and I would be in the brush and the mic, be just talking, just paper. I knew that, but I didn't know. And then always grew up in the church. And even though I'm not a minister, but I am in the business of ministry.
Ooh, all
Because
right.
I educate, equip, and empower, which birthed my business for those 3 E's each and
Ooh.
every day.
So, I love that. So that leads me then to, so let's get a little deeper into,
Okay.
what was it that sparked that interest, because you're an HR professional, you're working for the federal government. Like, what was that? Because this is one of those questions I like to ask too, is what was that aha moment? Like, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. Because like you said, you're giving and you're in the community, but what was that like that really led you on to the career path that you are to help get you to 3E Consulting?
Well, the career path actually started how I got into the federal government. I started as an intern. And
Okay.
so, looking for a job, they have great internships programs. So I remember what my mother told me, always go be professional when you finish, ask for other tasks. I was always hardworking. I was always had that work ethic, that academic success that I was always in me. And so my first internship, this was back, and I worked for the Office of Personnel Management. Many of those
Okay.
who are in the DC area know about that personnel test, that
That
clerical test. People
OPM.
used to
Yep.
sign up. I remember people around the corner waiting to type that clerical test. But my first task was mailing out the notices. And you know how somebody had to mail it, but I did it with a smile and was
That's
mailing
right.
it. But it was something that they saw something in me, maybe how I folded with a smile, and I was, doing that. But they asked me, would you like to come back, on your winter break? I was a college student, just became a
Wow.
freshman at the University in Maryland. I said, sure. And when I came back on my winter break, I was working. And then they said, well, are you interested in working while you're going to school? Yes, sure.
Of
I would
course.
love to do that. And so little did I know that was starting the trajectory of my life. So when I went to Maryland, I was always talking about, careers and, resumes, and because that's what I was doing. I was in HR and doing those things and working on those projects. And so when I graduated, I literally, started, graduated on a Monday, was still working that Tuesday. So, I just started that trajectory, and I was able to do extremely well, move up very fast. I was a supervisor at the age of 30, supervising
Wow.
people who did not look like me and who were much older
Right.
than me. But
Right.
one of the things I knew about is I love HR, because it was about people and about organizations and things. And I knew my gifts about connecting, and I was a people person. So I was like, I can do this. And so literally that is my story. And then throughout my journey, I've been able to, I started as an intern, but I've been able to oversee internships. So if that's not a
Powerful.
360, you started as
Right.
an intern coming in. Now you're overseeing internships program that's going to impact, and you have impact.
Impact.
Hear me
That's right.
now. You have
Mm-hmm.
impact to make a difference on a program that you came in to make it better for what
Mm.
future generations. And just that's been my journey. But over the time, I have seen, opportunities, people, again, co-workers, people who are now, I call them my guardian angels. They were mentors. They were pouring
Wow.
and
Into you.
watering what was
Mm.
in me. And
Mm.
look at it now. And so that's what I do. I pour. I just want to sprinkle a little joy on you. It's going to flourish one day.
I love that, and see, that's that passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That so many of us, unfortunately, do not find in what it is that we're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's clear to me, listening and watching you, that passion really pours into everything that you do,
Mm-hmm.
and when I say everything, because there's also other bits and pieces that, as we've done our research on you, you wear a lot of different hats, you
Yes.
know, um, in your 9 to 5 as an HR professional,
Mm-hmm.
but your passion also leads into, obviously it's obvious you're an exceptional speaker without question, but you also are a career coach,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm correct reading, you're also an author.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how, sister, like, I'm gonna give you a few minutes for this one, but like, how with that passion, like, how did that really lead you, starting in HR and the things that you're doing, really help you branch out into those areas that you're really touching people in as well?
Well, that's a great question. I say one of the things I've been able to do is I say navigate the environments that I've been in. So I've been able to again take my gifts and talents and been able to speak not only my day-to-day job, but find opportunities within my workplace. So I do career workshops. I've done resume workshops. I'm always asked to be a panelist, to speak to interns or to speak to professionals in HR about my journey. So I've been able to navigate in a systems who sometimes maybe they try to box you and no, we don't have no time and you can't
Right.
do this. You can't box what God has in you.
That's right.
And so that's another. So that's been my story about when people don't see you, and that could be your bosses and people, your loved ones, whoever it is. But you know there is something inside of you that there is more in me that I
That's
know
right.
I could be doing. You got to
That's
help, you
right.
got to navigate. So that's what kind of led me into being like a coach because I've always had the gift to say, I'm here today, but I got big dreams. I told you
I
I
know
was a
that's right.
dreamer. That's what my grandmother instilled in me. I got big dreams. So in order to make my dreams a reality, I got to do something. I got to make some moves. I got to connect with some people. So that's
Right.
where the coaching came in. And then how I got to be an author was truly about a relationship. I've had and been truly blessed to have Black women as models
Mm,
of supervisor. So I have
mm,
seen great leadership.
right.
And so as I was traveling along my journey as being a leader, I've been able to see the model. And then I also was able to see what I don't want to become. But it was
Mm,
through that great leadership that these women now were my bosses, but they become my mentors, they become my coaches, and they what? Continue to offer opportunities. And so that's how I
mm.
became, an author. Hey, Joy, I'm about to do
Wow.
a book, and somebody, you want to join us on this project? Sure.
Wow.
And little did I know that letter, but even before I became an author, right before my 40th birthday, I started posting every day until my 40th birthday, little confirmations of just life, of
Mm,
different quotes and stuff. And I literally told myself before this was really something that people would comment on social media. I said, I could probably one day be an author.
mm-hmm.
I said,
Yeah.
and I told that to no one but God.
God, but
And
God.
later, then she asked me, Joy, I'm about to do this book with somebody. Would you like to join me? I said, yes. This is almost 3 books later.
Ooh.
So
All
when I
right.
talk about gifts that you have or visions and
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you have told yourself and maybe told no one, I stand as a testament and an encouragement that it can come to pass.
Mm.
If
Look.
position
You
yourself and do all some other stuff to get you ready to walk in that.
look. You don't have to tell me. For those who know me, and I've talked about it on the show. 10 years ago this summer, I should have lost my life. I was laying in a hospital bed with the biggest tube that the doctors could find put in my chest. And I remember hearing the doctor say to my wife and my daughter, right now
Mhm,
we don't know, if he's going to make it, but if you believe in God, you should pray. And I
mhm,
remember, you know, I'm not an overly spiritual man,
mhm,
but I remember hearing that saying, I'm like, Lord, I know you got to have something else in store for me because
mhm,
this can't be it. And it is a testament. Here I'm living a second life, a second opportunity at life, and to be able to share this platform.
mhm,
This was something that I didn't see. The Lord puts people in your space to help you. This was my
mhm.
wife's idea. I thought my wife was crazy. Here we are, 3 seasons later, 150 episodes and counting. To be able to really interact with people and to
Mhm,
hear these stories, and this is what it's all about for me. I really
mhm,
want people to be able to understand that you are not alone. Even
mhm,
in your darkest of times, there's people that have
mhm,
been in your place and space,
mhm,
and they've turned their lives into a
mhm,
success.
mhm.
And your success and your passion is really, it speaks volumes to me. It's touching my heart today. So I'm glad, and I say this is divine intervention because I'm supposed to be here today. We were supposed to be here
Yes.
today having this conversation and
Mhm.
sharing with others. So thank you so much. And I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause, ladies and gentlemen. Here at Two Mics Up, we like to say thank you to our sponsors who help keep us up and running and bringing such fabulous guests and fabulous contents like Dr. Joi Brown today. So don't go away. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. And we're going to talk with Dr. Joi Brown about some of her services and other things when we come out of the break. Be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're fresh out the break. You see the smile, you see the energy from today's wonderful guest, Dr. Joi Brown. Dr. Joi, I thank you. That first part, really getting to know you, your passion.
Mhm.
But we do like to talk to entrepreneurs and business owners about their services. Now,
Mhm.
you have some great services that I've had the pleasure to really dive into, but I want to give you the opportunity to talk to our audience about some of the career and coaching services and other programs that you provide through 3E Consulting.
All right, thank you. Yes, so I am the CEO of 3EEE Consulting, which stands for Educate, Equip, and Empower through
Mm,
coaching, conversations, and workshops. So, in terms of career and business development, leadership development, health and wellness, conflict resolution, and personal branding, and some of the career services, I do call myself the career strategist for a reason because we're going to put them 25 years plus of HR experience to the test. But we do career services. We will rewrite your resume. We will help you
mm,
learn those star skills and just show up for your interview. Be confident and nail that interview. Work on your cover letter and make sure that you have a professional brand. That's important. You
mm.
got to have a
That
brand
is
out here
important.
because,
Hmm.
again, everything needs to be tied to the brand. And so
Hmm.
I help people and organizations, I say, be prepared for their next and achieve their greatness.
Mm. I, you know, it's funny that you really talk about that because prior to this I actually was doing the same thing. I uh, support the federal government as well, and
Mhm.
I've had the opportunity um, through my climb and becoming a director. I started out when I first came out of the hospital. I started a career development services,
Mhm.
especially really trying to reach out to our young men and women of color.
Mhm.
We are so underserved and we really don't have the tools. But I'm
Mhm.
curious to know, from your standpoint, like I don't know if it's an educational thing, if it's a cultural thing, if it's a breakdown thing, but what do you find like when you're working with young people, graduating, let's say from college, or
Mhm.
maybe trying to transition, and maybe they had a skill or a trade. Like what are if you could like what are the one or two things that you try to hone in and really help them to kind of guide them, you know, to understand, you're going from a job to a career, and,
Right.
and try to get them into that career lane, because I know it was difficult for me earlier, but I'm curious to know from you, this is what you're still doing. How does that look like for you, and what do you try to do to guide them, to get them on their career journey?
Well, that's a great question. I think the first thing is we start off with strengths. I started finding out, what are your strengths? What do you like to do?
Mm,
Again, what did you, because oftentimes we go to school, we have our degrees, and a lot of us are not even working in the major that we even
okay.
work in now. And
Okay.
so, again, that's fine, but it's also looking at what degree, what skills you have, and making them transferable to any job. And so
Mm,
that's really the key. So I start, again, working with my clients, identify their strengths, their talents. What are those transferable skills that, regardless of the occupational job, that is transferable?
mm,
Communication, analytical skills,
mm-hmm.
writing skills, public speaking skills, being able to
Mm-hmm.
be strategic. These are your transfer. How are you able to bring people together, collaborate, engage?
Very true. Very true.
So how are you able to do that? And not only do students, because again, I have my son is 25 now, and even when he was doing his jobs growing up, well, his mother was in HR, so his resume.
Uh,
I made that job when he worked at Readers look great because he wasn't just, greeting people. No, he was greeting, he was organizing, he was maintaining, he was handling, complex
mhm.
issues. Oh, yes. So it's a way you have to figure out to help talk about your skill sets. And the
Skill
other
sets.
thing I would say, a lot of people, the hardest person, on an interview is about you. I'm asking
Yes.
questions about you, but that's the one area that people struggle. I've,
Yep.
I've sit on the other side of that. So tell me what made you apply to this job?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How would you
Yep.
describe yourself in three adjectives? Is one of my.
Yep.
I'm just asking you. How would you
Right.
describe yourself in three?
Right.
Stuck. You can't
And
be stuck on a person that you should know better than
right.
anybody else.
Anybody.
So
Agreed.
that's why you need to help, tap in those skills, work with a coach, get a
Mm-hmm.
mentor to kind of practice, your elevator spit, your
Yeah.
elevator pitch, because you
Pitch.
really
That's
only have, I say, one time to make a lasting impression, not a first time, a lasting,
last.
because you may not get a second time to make that first
Mm.
impression.
And that's so true. You sound like myself and my wife. My daughter, same thing. Look, there's no way you going in here without being sharp. And
Hmm.
it's asking those questions, and being blessed to have we rise to that level to be able to go ahead and give that to our children. But you like I said, you only get one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and usually the first time, really, and I'll tell anybody, you know, I don't understand some young men and women today, is the first thing they're gonna see is you, just what you look like
Mm-hmm.
before you open your mouth.
Yes.
I've already in my mind sometimes, and I hate to say it, you know, I had an interview and I'm already just based on dress and appearance,
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. Now you might get in the interview and you might blow me away, but it's the fact you know the environment that you're working in. If this is going to be the everyday appearance, you would have blown me away in the interview, but I've already lost you at inception. And, you know, and these are just things. But like I say, you got to have mentors and people that can work with you, that can kind of help build you up
Mm-hmm.
and help design you and prepare you. But like I said, at the end of the day, nobody knows you like
Right.
you, and you should be able to kill that in 30 seconds. So that's very key, and I hope you know people play this back, listen to these gems that you receive in the day. Um, Another favorite question of mine, because behind that, Joy, is you know, and I think this is important for business owners, and this is really for those who are business owners and entrepreneurs. You know, I'm always curious to know in what ways, right, do you see the positive impact of your work, you know, let's say with clients that you've dealt with and seeing their growth. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really a
Mm-hmm.
really good way to look at, am I really in tune with, because I have my own mission, you know, my
Mm-hmm.
own vision. And I think, you know, to be able to see something positive, you know, through clients or people that you work with is
Mm-hmm.
really important. So I'm curious to know for you, what does that look like, and what has that experience been for you?
Well, that's a great question. I say any client, we are truly in this together and we are truly a partnership. But I have seen clients from the beginning, that first session, to many months later, to the growth. When I'm talking about growth, not in their skill sets, but growth in their confidence. That
Wow.
I had one client, I literally saw her the other day and we were talking. I said, I remember when we first started, we had conversations, and you know, we asked people why you want to do coaching, what are your goals that you want to get out. So I'm very clear. But it was one conversation. She said that she says, yeah, my boss really didn't know me. And I think her boss said, well, I don't even know your skill sets.
Oh,
And I
wow.
said, wow, you're my employee and I just don't know your skills. But now, through this journey of us working together over this time, she is now a supervisor. And I literally told
Okay.
her, I have seen you grow in your confidence,
Mm.
in your skills, because sometimes it's in them, but they need some reminding. So that's when that
Reminders.
joy come up. That's when I call myself that positive energizer. And when you finish, you are going to feel like you can take over this world. Like, yes, I have it. Yes, because sometimes it's in you. You just need somebody to ignite that fire.
Ain't that fire? Mm.
You got this. You have it.
Wow.
You are very technical. You are very skillful. Now we got to create opportunities for them to see you, because
Yeah.
you got to be
Yeah.
seen. And I'm going
Yes.
to need you to open your mouth. But when you
Mouth.
open it, you will speak with authority
Mm.
and confidence. See, that's the
Mm.
thing that we
You ain't
work
never
on, because you
lied.
could be in the room
You got
and
that
just
right.
take up space. And that's why I tell even
Mm.
my students, don't just be in the room, just taking up space and breathing.
That's
Make
right.
it matter and
Mm.
make it important.
Mm.
So that's what, so when we talk about give back, because I'm like, if I don't help the next generation, who will? I'm
Who
not going to
will?
wait, because
Mm.
I know where I am because somebody opened the door. And so
Yeah.
I knew when I got this job, and it was funny, that testimony, I thought I was going to be a deputy. I was like, okay, I'm going to be, my next role was going to be a deputy. And no, because the deputy would mean there was somebody ahead of you that was
You're
still be
right.
making the decisions. See, the
Right.
assignment was, I need you at the top,
Mm.
because I'm
Mm.
going to need, when you make it, you understand what you're making it for and for
Go
whom.
ahead now.
It's for
Speak it.
everybody coming behind you. So when you think of that thing, and that thing is so real, I said, okay, I got it. So that's
I
why
got
I'm
it.
humbled and blessed every day. And I tell my team, and I'll tell people in my intro, this is my dream job
Mm.
that I've grown up, because I want to make impact. It ain't about me.
I
My
know that's
legacy
right.
started from day one. I'm making impact, and I'm
Love it.
changing generations.
Mm. I love it.
Generations. That's what I want to do. And that ties into my life's motto.
I love it so much. Ladies and gentlemen, look, you know, these are the type of conversations that you hate to have comes when, you know, we only got 30 minutes and, you know, we're
Mm-hmm.
coming to the end of this amazing conversation with Dr. Joi Brown. Like I said, if y'all don't see the passion, y'all can't feel the passion, something wrong with you, because this sister right here really brings it. And I'm blessed to have made your acquaintance today and to be able to share your fruitful story with everyone. Dr. Joi, you know, we're coming to the end. And before we go, I want to give you a few minutes to, you know, please go ahead and share, you know, your social media. Because look, ladies and gentlemen, go out and contact your sister. Go get yourself some encouragement, get yourself some empowerment, and work on your legacy and what you're going to leave behind, and leave that impact that she talks about. And, before you go to, also, just let us know if you have any things coming up, any events or anything, because again, I want our community to go out and support you in the work that you're doing.
All right. Well, great. You can follow me on social media under the number 3, followed by 3 E's Consultant. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. And the website is the same, the number 3, followed by 3 E's Consultant. And I do offer free a career or coaching call. It's free. So just schedule a call today. So what's up next for me? We are stepping into our leadership greatness. So if you're trying to grow in your career, you're an aspiring leader, you're a supervisor or manager. Again, you want to move from point A to point B. I need you come connect with me and other industry leaders on December 9th for the Step into Leadership Greatness right here in the DMV area. And so you can find me on, again, social media and reach out to me. But it has truly been a pleasure to you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We're going to get that information. Before we go, I'm going to ask you to send us that information. We want to go ahead and put that information out, and we're going to support, you and everything that you're doing with 3E. You're an amazing individual. You're blessed sister. Thank you so much for taking out, time today to share, a piece of you with me and our audience. Thank you so much. Continued success to you in all that you do.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to wrap up another great episode of 2 Mics Up. Look, season 5, we're coming to the back end. We're coming to the end, and we're still bringing you some of the greatest content by some of the best entrepreneurs, CEOs, celebrities here that are doing the work that Dr. Joi Brown is doing, leaving impact, a positive impact in the community. That's what part of what 2 Mics Up is all about: educating, empowering, impacting others. So this right here fits right in. Dr. Joi, you part of the family. You can follow 2 Mics Up on social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at 2 Mics Up. Look, we on Mogul TV Network, the #1 network for positive programming. Look, we're getting over 1 million views now. We are in 31 countries. You can check us out Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Mogul TV Network. You can find that on your Amazon or Roku TV device or online at www.themoguls.tv. I'm your man, Damednydc. I'm going to ask you one question like I always do, ladies and gentlemen, before we close out. Please stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out. 007.